we're gonna do another very simple thing today. We're just gonna build one of these little tune knobs. So we're just gonna create something new. I'll set up a very quick sine oscillator with an amplitude control, and we're gonna get our pitch value from our note pitch MIDI in, and we can connect a numeric readout to our pitch just so that we can get an idea of what's coming through when we play notes on our MIDI keyboard. All right, so this is middle C. It's 60, right? D up from that is 62. So you get the idea. We'll just connect an AR envelope real quick. So now we're hearing the pitches that we're playing on our MIDI keyboard. And all we want to do to be able to have fine tuning of the pitch control is to intercept the note pitch value as it's going to whatever it is controlling our oscillator probably. We're just going to add a control to it before we send it to our oscillator. And this is the value of the knob is going to determine how we are modifying our pitch value. So we'll call this tune. There's 12 semitones in an octave. So this will be a 1 octave plus or minus tune knob. You can set this to whatever you want. You can skip the whole octave transpose switch that we built in the last video, and you can make a knob that transposes, 3 octaves if you want. Just 36, just add multiples of 12. 36 and 36. That's 3 octaves down and 3 octaves up. That's the same range as the switch we just built. So that's a pretty straightforward thing. Now to get a fine tune control, we're just gonna add another value to this same pitch value before we send it to our oscillator. So I'm just gonna create another knob, but this time it's gonna have a smaller value. That'll result in a more fine-grained control. So this is gonna be a 1 semitone fine-tune control. Default mouse resolution is 127. For fine-tune controls, like something like 400 is probably appropriate. And I always like to, first of all, turn the values off on these knobs, because you can leave the value on for the tune knob just so you can kind of see how many semitones you're going, but for especially for fine-tune knobs, make it small and turn the value off. And that way you kind of understand that it's a fine control, right? Keep things obvious for the user. So we could add this again, take our coarse control and add our fine knobs value to it and then send it to the pitch. But a much quicker and cleaner way to do it is just to hold down Control or Command on a Mac, and we can add inputs to our add modules. And I encourage you to experiment. Many modules can take more inputs, and holding down Control will just speed that up. So now we can just take this value and send it to our oscillator, and we'll hook up our numeric readout to the output of our add, and now we can actually watch. So here's our middle C, here's 60, and as we put up our fine control, it's modifying that pitch value, plus or minus 1 semitone. When you combine it with the octave switch that we built in our last video, this is what it looks like. You just have 4 inputs to an add module. One is note pitch coming in, and then you have your octave plus or minus, which is adding or subtracting in increments of 12, and then you have a tune, which is 1 octave up or down, and then a fine control, which is 1 semitone up or down. And that gives you really fine-grained control and really flexible control over the pitch of your oscillator, especially if layering them on top of each other or against each other.